A supervisor's responsibility does not stop with the hire of the new employee. On the contrary, the work is just beginning. Now that you have hired your new employee, the onboarding process begins. This is the time that it is crucial for you to define your expectations of their performance, provide guidance and training, and begin performance management. Onboarding is the process in which you prepare your new employee for success in their position. The onboarding process starts the first moment a new employee arrives. I'm going to give you 2 examples of the first day for a new employee. Here is Jim's first day at UAF. Jim arrives at 7:45 a.m. to make a good impression, but nobody opens the door to the department until 8:10 a.m. Jim explains to the receptionist who he is, and she has no idea who Jim is, let alone that a new employee is starting. Jim eventually finds his way to his desk, and the supplies are old and used, the desk is dusty and dirty, and the keyboard is missing keys. No expectations are given to Jim on his first day, and he's trying to find his supervisor, only to learn that she's left on vacation. Jim is starting to question his decision to accept the position, and by the end of the day, he's searching online for another job opportunity. Now here's Jane's first day at UAF. Once Jane accepted her position, she received an email from her new department admin with links to forms and instructions of what to bring on the first day, where to park, and who will meet and greet her. Jane arrives 15 minutes early and was greeted by the receptionist who showed her to her desk. The desk was well stocked with office supplies. A welcome card signed by the department's employees is on the desk, along with a UAF gift mug. Jane's supervisor arrived promptly at 8 a.m. to introduce Jane to everyone in the department and have the initial expectations meeting. The department admin then took Jane on a quick tour of the department and introduced her to her coworkers. Now think back to when you started in your current position. Which scenario was your first day at UAF? Which one would you prefer, Jim or Jane's first day? Please think about these scenarios when you have your new employee arriving to start for their first day at UAF. Let's consider some facts. 1/3 of external hires are no longer with the organization after 2 years. Nearly 1/3 of executives who join organizations as an external hire miss expectations in the first 2 years, and almost 1/3 of employees employed in their current position for less than 6 months are already job searching. What is the onboarding process? It is the process of helping new hires adjust to social and performance aspects of their new jobs quickly and smoothly. Onboarding includes all processes and experiences that the new hire has after joining the organization. This includes paperwork completion, benefits selection, and learning about the organization, its structure, culture, mission, and values. Why should we care about onboarding? Studies have continued to demonstrate that employee engagement is partially determined by the new employee's treatment and orientation during the first 30 to 90 days of employment. There is not much time to make a good impression on the new hire. A solid onboarding strategy will help build loyalty and assist with retention and engagement issues throughout the employee's time with the university. Effective employee onboarding has a domino effect, ensuring that new hires feel welcomed and prepared in their new positions, in turn giving them the confidence and resources to make an impact within the organization, and ultimately allowing the university to carry out its mission. Looking at this slide, according to the Aberdeen Group, August 2006, you can see the strategies that influence retention rates. Onboarding, along with other employment strategies, play a significant role in employee retention. It is imperative that you define and communicate your expectations of the employee from the start. An employee, whether they verbalize it or not, is wondering what the expectation is for them on their first day. All supervisors manage differently. When preparing your expectations for your employee, you should consider details such as what are the work standards in this environment, how will you manage employees' performance, how will he or she know that they are meeting or not meeting your expectations? Do you have high or low expectations? Do you micromanage or manage at a distance? How much daily interaction do you expect to have with your employee? Think about your experience with past employees and what were the big issues. Did you have issues such as attendance, communication, professionalism, or data entry errors? If you see a pattern developing with an employee's performance that does not meet the standard, make sure that you clarify your expectations right away to ensure the pattern does not continue. Remember, performance will suffer if expectations are ambiguous. Please contact your HR consultant if you would like assistance with identifying and communicating your expectations. Every department operates in their own way. New employees, even if they've worked with the UAF before, need to know and understand the processes and procedures within a department or office. The supervisor should provide an overview of work processes, workflows, departmental structures, and informal rules of the road. Share information such as who signs off on work orders, who needs to approve new projects, what requests need to be approved through the supervisor, dean, director, vice chancellor, or provost. It's imperative that you provide your employees with the tools and knowledge needed for them to be successful in their position and work environment. You may even want to pair the new employee with a mentor who can help them navigate the system and answer questions. Choose a mentor wisely. You want a positive and knowledgeable individual to fulfill this role. During the first month of employment, continue to reinforce key issues and introduce the employee to additional staff, including key members of the department and UAF leadership groups. Continue to meet with the employee to make sure questions are being answered and that concerns are addressed. Be accessible to the employee and ensure that the employee has received or signed up for the relevant trainings for the position. Learning about the culture of the work environment is one of the hardest aspects of the onboarding process. Many employees tend to find out the hard way when it comes to the organizational norm, etiquette, and acceptable work behaviors. Some items that a supervisor or mentor can clarify for a new employee are: can an employee eat at their desk? Are laughing and talking in the hallway seen as a positive or negative behavior? Can an employee answer a personal phone call while at work? Tips on cross-departmental communications and protocols for soliciting help from outside departments. The first 6 months is also the probationary period where you should have supplied the applicant tools, trainings, and feedback in order to determine if this placement is a good fit for the department and for the employee. Throughout the onboarding process, the supervisor should provide feedback on the new hire's performance while also soliciting feedback from the employee. It should never be a surprise if an employee did not successfully fulfill the probationary period. If at any point in the first 6 months you do not feel that things are working, contact your HR consultant right away. Do not wait until the 6th month to contact UAF HR or until UAF HR checks in with you to see how things are going with your new employee. Your HR consultant will contact you or send you an email inquiring about your newly hired employee who is in the onboarding process and is still in the probationary period. The goal of this inquiry is to see how things are going and to see if any assistance is needed. At the same time, the new employee will be receiving a survey inquiring about their onboarding experience. We want to see how we are doing as a university, if the employee received the tools needed to succeed, and were they provided in a timely manner. The onboarding process can and should continue for months and sometimes years. There are many positions that have annual cycles where employees are still learning different areas of their positions even after a year. Fiscal positions are a great example of this. Most employees must go through a complete fiscal year to fully grasp the duties required throughout that year. As you can see in the chart from the Aberdeen Group, within the first 6 months of employment is when employees make their decision to stay with a company. This supports the fact that the onboarding process is very important from day one of employment. Previously, we briefly discussed mentors. Let's go into more detail about mentors and the beneficial role they can play in the onboarding process. New employees do not always feel comfortable asking questions or going to their supervisors for help. If at all possible, having a mentor or transition coach should help the employee, especially when it comes to teaching the new employee the social aspects of the work environment. The mentoring role offers the new employee a connection to someone who is not in a position of direct authority over the new hire or in any official capacity. This allows the employee to ask a mentor questions that they may not necessarily want to ask their supervisor. Although in some situations, mentors can be formally assigned, mentor-mentee relationships frequently develop on their own and are informal. Be sure that if you assign a mentor, the individual should be a role model who shares knowledge and advice to help the employee grow professionally. The mentor should have a positive and productive impact on the new employee. We don't want to promote unprofessionalism or poor performance standards. So who plays a role in the onboarding process? Everyone. PPAs or departmental admins assist with initial hiring documents. UAF HR through consulting on employment-related questions, processing employee paperwork, new employee orientations, training, and other employment-related actions. Mentors introduce new employees to fellow team members and others within the organization, review informal rules and policies, and answer day-to-day questions. Executive teams provide the mission, vision, and values, strategic goals and objectives of the organization, high-level review of roles and responsibilities, and descriptions of organizational culture and direction. And the most important person in the onboarding process is the supervisor. The supervisor sets goals and expectations for the new hire and assists with achieving these goals. Supervisors also review duties and responsibilities, work behaviors, standards, and expectations, introduce the new hire to fellow team members and other members of the organization, and review other roles and relationships within the department. The university's vision is to promote academic excellence, student success, and lifelong learning. Each department within the university contributes to this mission and has a mission, vision, and values of its own. These are important aspects of the university's culture and should be introduced to the new hire right away. Please be sure to review the university and department's organizational structure with your new employee. It is also important that new employees know about the staff directories within the university and your department. Be sure that you explain how to find these directories and provide them the essential contact information. New hires should have a tour of your facility so that they can locate the supervisor's office, the copiers, the administrative assistant, break rooms, restrooms, and other important locations within the general vicinity. It is also important that you give the new hire a tour of the campus to show them where leadership in the department and university are located. Please make an effort to introduce them to the dean, director, or other leaders within the university as you are touring. University employees are critical to advancing the university's mission, and effective communication helps them to be better informed and empowered in the workplace. Marketing and Communications website has links to different communication methods used on campus that help our employees stay informed, some of which are the Cornerstone staff and faculty newsletter, the Grapevine website, and all campus emails and listservs. The Cornerstone is an electronic newsletter used for general announcements such as events, trainings, updates, retirement parties, staff changes, minor procedural changes, programmatic offerings to staff, and solicitations for volunteers. This newsletter is published weekly during the academic year. The Grapevine is a Q&A format set to dispel rumors and clarify misconceptions and misunderstandings of a general nature. Suggestions for improving campus operations are also welcome. All campus emails and listservs to faculty, staff, and students are administered by Marketing and Communications. They should be used for announcements such as Chancellor's Communications, policy decisions, senior management appointments, benefits information, changes in major operating procedures, safety and holiday information, campus-wide initiatives and announcements that affect a large portion of the campus. If there are any listservs that employees need to sign up for, please make sure that they know where and how to subscribe to them. Effective onboarding can transform a new hire into a dedicated employee, eliminating the cost of turnover. Onboarding is not an isolated process. It is deeply rooted in an effective hiring strategy and involves the supervisor setting clear expectations, assisting new employees with social integration and knowledge of the university's culture. You have now reached the end of Chapter 2 of the second learning module. Remember, we're here to help and to advise and assist you. If you have any questions, please feel free to call us. We want you to be an effective supervisor, and we're part of your management resource. People are our most important assets, and together we can make the university the most engaging place of employment. To see how much you've learned, please complete the self-assessment on compensation, classification and recruitment, and onboarding found in the assessment section of your course site. Then continue making progress in your studies.